That single line in the book a lot more complicated than you can possibly imagine. First of all, you have to remember God has to think about what it wants to do and then produce it into wavelength of thought and form for every dimensional membrane reality that it creates. If you don't know what a dimensional membrane reality is, well, I'll get to that. Generally speaking, the foundation of reality based off of a template, based off of wavelength, based off of molecular cohesion, and all these fundamentals of reality in general. Molecular cohesion, subatomic. I don't want to say magnetism, but it's very similar to magnetism, holding things in place, and a wave energetic field that's masquerading as a particle as well as a wave simultaneously. If you really want to get technical about it. And the string theory talks about that, but the string is actually the wave operating on a frequency level to generate, well, what it appears as the shell of the atom, which is, of course, goes into the bonds of chemistry, produces all things on the periodical table of elements, which is missing elements, by the way. And also, by chemistry alone, it's the building blocks of all genetic life, all genetic markers, genetic traits, the encoding, programming for adaptive biology. And all this had to be created before God manifested it. Through light, through frequencies, through waves, through harmonics, through thought, all manifesting these various things into matter, matter into, well, certain sacred geometry designs that you'll find in various arts and various designs of planetary arrangement in general. And in general, in everything, you'll find that out over time, though. And of course, once all designed, manifested. And that bringing us to the dimensional membrane reality and what it's like from the outside, as well as what it's like from the inside, verified by your sciences and your digital natures and your illustrations. And of course, I wouldn't be me without a little bit of humor and morality thrown in there to point you to where we're heading and the history of this world in its ancient derivative of the beginning of Genesis being actually found in Egypt by Moses or Imhotep. These languages crisscross with each other, of course, but they're all based on the fundamental of the firmament, which is not exactly what you think it to be, but more of a dual meaning attribute. The firmament, of course, is referred to as the standard, which the angels are held to, and what is above the firmament, what is below the firmament. And that's very symbolic as well as moralistic, and also literalistic in many ways. What's above the heavens and is also below after it was cast down. Well, why was it cast down? Well, we'll get to that. It was more of a free will thing, and in the free will thing, not such good ideas, but vanity and then conflict. Vanity and then unification of certain attributes that were once divided and at each other's throats. And unfortunately, not for the better always. And then, of course, the whole concept of, well, you know who. Of that nature, played by Tim Curry in this particular film, Legend. which is talking about dusk and dawn and the moon and the sun. This is a very biblical movie in all factual truth. And of course, his little one-liners that were mystical, and the current dichotomies of those red dragon natures and serpents. Red dragon, serpents. It's all part of a system of, control to make you prisoners on this toroidal earth in dysfunction that was so dysfunctional that it had to be separated and break up the electromagnetic fields from the ley lines, or the 1 and 2 in the same, from having the pyramids abused. And of course you have multiple maps talking about this separation and various different natures, and the past, and the now. You're not going to convince me that's a volcanic thing.